Myself Savita Pinto. I am lecturer in Department of Polymer Technology. On behalf of Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, I am going to present the course Physical Chemistry of 3rd semester. Now, in this session, I am going to start with the Unit 2, that is session of Unit 2. In this unit, the course outcome is Laws of Thermochemistry, Catalysis and their applications. Now let's start this session. The content of this session, that is laws of thermochemistry, catalyst and catalysis, types of catalysis, enzyme catalysis, applications of catalysis, and some multiple questions are there. Let's study about the laws of thermochemistry. Let's start the first law, that is Lavoisier and Laplace law. This law is invented in the year 1780. So this law states that the amount of heat evolved in a chemical reaction is equal to the amount of heat absorbed when the same reaction is reversed. Or you can say that the amount of heat absorbed in a chemical reaction is equal to the amount of heat evolved when the same reaction is reversed. Okay, so this means that even when the reaction is reversed, the heat will be same, absorbed and evolved heat will be same. Let's see example. So in this first one, carbon plus oxygen form carbon dioxide. Here the heat is, that is minus 393.5 kilojoule. Now in the same thing, here there is a reaction will be decomposition. Same reaction but is a reverse reaction. This carbon dioxide is decomposed into carbon and oxygen. Here heat evolved is plus 393.5 kilojoule. Okay, so amount of heat will be same when the same reaction is reversed. It is absorbed as well as evolved. The amount of heat will be same. This is according to Lavoisier and Laplace law. Second law, that is Hess's law of constant heat of summation. So this law is invented in 1840, the year 1840. Now this law states that the enthalpy change that occurs in a chemical reaction is always constant. Enthalpy change that occurs in a chemical reaction is always constant and independent of the time taken and the intermediate step involved. Means that is independent of the time taken also and the intermediate step is evolved also. It is not depend upon the time and not depend upon the intermediate steps. So it is always constant. Now here example, when the reactant A changes to product D in a single step or a several step, the heat of reaction for a is given rise to D is constant. Now here A is given rise to D, the heat is remains constant here. See here it is in a single step. It is heat is kilojoule. Here it is of course in a multiple step. First step A is given rise to B, that is Q1. B is given rise to C, that is heat is Q2 kilojoule. C is given rise to D. Now when you adding the step 1, 2, 3, you will get A is given rise to D, that is delta H is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, that is Q kilojoule. So this heat and this heat, this is a reaction that is takes place in a single step, and this is a reaction that is takes place in a multiple step. Even though the reaction takes place in a single step or in a multiple step, the heat change is constant. Okay, this is according to Hess's law. So now we studied the two laws of thermochemistry. First one, that is a Lavoisier and Laplace law. Second one, that is a Hess's law of constant heat of summation. Okay, so these are the both important laws of thermochemistry. So here example is there. Here the carbon plus oxygen is give rise to carbon dioxide, that is in a single step, that is heat change, it is 393.5 kilojoule. It is only in a single step. But here same thing, that is takes place in a multiple step. Here carbon is first plus oxygen give rise to carbon monoxide, and the second step the carbon monoxide is reactive with the oxygen and then will give rise to carbon dioxide. So in this reaction, in this two steps takes place. Here it is takes place in only one step, but even though the reaction is takes place in a one step or in a multiple step, the heat change, it is a constant. So this example we may give to the second law, that is a Hess's law of constant summation. Okay, this is a very important law. Now the next part, that is a catalysis. Now what is meant by catalyst? You may heard in the chemical reactions, that is we are using catalyst. Now let's see what is meant by catalyst. The rate of a chemical reactions are increased or decreased by the addition of a substance. Okay, so rate of a chemical reaction are increased or decreased by the addition of a substance is called catalyst. So that is, if you want the chemical reactions to be speed, then also you can add the catalyst, or if you want the reaction is to be slow, then also you can add the catalyst. Okay, so that substances are called as a catalyst. Now a catalyst is a substance which alters the rate of chemical reaction without undergoing any chemical change. This process is called as a catalysis. Now a catalyst is a substance which alters the rate of chemical reaction. That means it only alters the chemical reaction. It may increase or decrease the rate of chemical reaction, but the catalyst won't undergo any chemical change. So that is remain as it is at the end. Okay, so this process is called as a catalysis. Now there are two steps or two types in the catalyst. So first type, that is a positive catalyst. Second one, it is a negative catalyst. So first type, it is a positive catalyst. Second type, that is a negative catalyst. Now what is meant by positive catalyst? A positive catalyst which increase the rate of a reaction. Positive catalyst which increase the rate of reaction, that is called as a positive catalyst. So which catalyst will increases the rate of reaction is called as a positive catalyst. Now negative catalyst means, yes, you can tell, that is a catalyst which decrease the rate of reaction. Yes, the catalyst which decrease the rate of reaction is called as a negative catalyst. It is easy to remember. Positive means increasing, negative means decreasing. So catalyst which increase the rate of reaction is called as a positive catalyst, and the catalyst which decrease the rate of reaction is called as a negative catalyst. Now you know about the catalysis. So in the catalysis also there are two types. First one, homogeneous catalysis. Second one, heterogeneous catalysis. So in the catalyst, two types, positive as well as a negative. So in the catalysis also there are two types, homogeneous as well as a heterogeneous. Now homogeneous catalysis. Homogeneous catalysis means a chemical reaction in which a catalyst and the reactant are in the same phase. Okay, that means if the catalyst reactant are in the gas phase, the catalyst also in the gas phase. Okay, so a chemical reaction in which a catalyst and the reactant are in the same phase are called as a homogeneous catalysis. Now you can see the example. So the reactants SO2 plus O2 are the reactants, and NO, nitrogen monoxide, is a catalyst. So this catalyst and the reactant are in the same phase. So second type, that is a heterogeneous catalysis. Heterogeneous catalysis means a chemical reaction in which, hetero means different, right? So a chemical reaction in which the catalyst and the reactant are in a different phase. So hetero means different. So here the catalyst and the reactant are in a different phase is called as a heterogeneous catalysis. Now in this example, that is here the reactant and the catalyst is in a different phase. This is a product. Reactant and the catalyst are in the different phase. Now let's see about the characteristics of the catalyst. So first one, a catalyst remain unchanged in mass and chemical composition at the end of the reaction. So here the catalyst remain unchanged means that is won't undergo any change in the reaction. It only alter the rate of the reaction. Okay, so catalyst remain unchanged in mass and chemical composition at the end of the reaction. Second one, a small quantity of catalyst is needed for a reaction. Even the small quantity is enough to takes place a reaction. Third one, in generally a catalyst does not start a reaction. Catalyst won't start the reaction. The reaction itself start. After that it will be increases the rate of the reaction. Next, a catalyst does is specific in its action, means a particular for particular reaction there is a particular catalyst. We cannot use the catalyst for all the reactions. So there is a, for particular reaction there is a particular catalyst. Next, a catalyst does not alter the position of equilibrium of reversible reaction. Catalyst does not alter the position of equilibrium of reversible reaction. The efficiency of a catalyst is maximum at particular temperature. This temperature is called as a optimum temperature. This is important. That is, the catalyst is active at a particular temperature. Efficiency of a catalyst is maximum at a particular temperature. That particular temperature is called as a optimum temperature. A solid catalyst is more active in the finally divided form. So if you divided, if you the catalyst is in the powder form, solid catalyst is the powder form, then the catalyst becomes more active. Now let's see the mechanism of the catalyst. That is, we have to study the mechanism of catalyst by using adsorption theory. This theory explains the mechanism of heterogeneous catalysis. That means, what is meant by heterogeneous catalysis? Here the catalyst and the reactant are in the different phase. Okay, catalyst and the reactant are in the different phases. So here especially when the catalyst is a solid and the reactant are in the gas phase. According to this theory, the reaction takes place in 5 steps. So according to this theory, the reaction takes place in 5 steps. That is, first step, that is diffusion of the reactant molecules to the catalyst surface. So first the reactant molecules are diffused in the catalyst surface. The second is a desorption of reactant molecule. There is a desorption of reactant molecule. Third one, there is a reaction between the adsorbed molecule, means reactant molecules as well as the catalyst surface. The next is a desorption of the product molecule from the surface. Now from the surface there is a desorption, means the product molecule will be removed from the catalyst surface. Now we will get the catalyst and the product as a separate. Next, diffusion of the product molecule away from the surface. Now the product molecule and the catalyst will be going to separate. Okay, this is about the mechanism of the catalyst. So first, the reactant molecule is adsorbed on the catalyst surface. After there is a desorption of the reactant molecule, then there is a reaction between the adsorbed molecule and then desorption of the product molecule from the surface, and after that diffusion of the product molecule away from the surface. Next, what are the importance of adsorption theory? Now, there should be an active center in the catalyst. The surface of the solid catalyst, there exist some points such as rocks, peaks and edges where unsatisfied valences are present. So in the catalyst there is a like peaks, okay, that is called as active centers. So there is a unsatisfied vacancies. Okay, now adsorption of molecule readily takes place at such point. Those points are active in catalyzing a reaction. So these centers, what are the peaks or edges are there in the catalyst surface. So these centers are very active. Okay, so they are active in catalyzing a reaction. That's why these are called as active centers. Now next, that is catalyst promoters. So it is a substance which by itself is not a catalyst. So catalytic promoter means which itself is not a catalyst but increases the efficiency of a catalyst. Catalyst promoter means they are not the catalyst, but if the other catalyst is present, they can increase the efficiency of a catalyst. They are called as a catalytic promoters. Now catalytic poison. Now catalytic poison you can understand by reading the what catalytic poison itself. That means what, that they will decreases the efficiency of a catalyst. So these are the substances which blocks the active centers present on the surface of the catalyst, and hence it decreases the efficiency of a catalyst. They are also not catalyst, but they will decreases the efficiency of a catalyst. Now next, it is one more catalysis is there. It is autocatalysis. Autocatalysis means a chemical reaction in which one of the product form itself catalyzes the reaction. Okay, so here A plus B, that is C plus D. So among these two products, one itself can act as a catalyst. Now if you take D, that D itself acts as a catalyst. So autocatalysis means a chemical reaction in which one of the product form itself catalyzes the reaction. Next, enzyme catalysis. So enzyme catalysis means enzymes are proteins which catalyzes various biochemical reaction. So enzymes are the proteins which catalyzes the various biochemical reaction. For example, in our body, so there are many biochemical reactions are takes place. So these biochemical reactions are takes place with the help of which one? Enzymes. So these are the biochemical reaction takes place because of the help of the enzymes. Now next, it is the enzyme catalysis means the enzymes are the proteins which catalyzes the various biochemical reaction. So the catalysis brought about by enzyme is called as a enzyme catalysis. The catalysis that is brought about by enzyme is called as a enzyme catalysis. Now what are the characteristics of the enzymes? So first one, they are highly specific in their action. That means like catalyst also, your enzymes are the very highly specific, means for the digestion purpose there is a particular enzymes, For other purpose also there is a particular enzymes. Okay, so for each biochemical reaction each enzymes will be used. Not one enzyme is common for all the reaction. There is a specific enzyme is there for specific action. So they are highly specific in their action, that is different reactions are catalyzed by different specific enzymes. Now they increases the rate by about 10 to the power 6 to 10 to the power 7 times more. So the reactions will be take faster if the enzymes are present. They are most active at about 310 Kelvin and about 340 Kelvin they are deactivated and destroyed. So about 300 Kelvin they are very active, but if the above 340 Kelvin they are deactivated and destroyed. So if the temperature increases above 340 they will become deactivated and destroyed. Now in certain enzymes, in non-protein part coenzyme is present. Certain enzyme there is also enzyme is a protein. Now in some enzyme there is a non-protein part is present. That non-protein part is called as a coenzyme. So it increases the efficiency in such enzyme. The protein part is called as a apoenzyme. Like catalyst also there is catalytic promoters are there. But here there is not promoter, there is a coenzyme is there. Coenzyme is a non-protein part present in an enzyme. So that non-protein part will be increases the rate of the reaction, that means rate of the enzyme, and that protein part is non-protein part is called as a apoenzyme. So enzymes are poisoned by heavy and metal salt. So if there is a heavy metal salts are present, the enzymes get poisoned. Enzymes actively depends on the pH of the medium. So depend upon the pH, their activities depends. Now what about the mechanism of enzyme catalyst? So in the same case as in the case of catalyst also, same mechanism of the enzyme catalyst. Here also same thing. The first one, the reacting substance or the substrate, S means substrate, A is enzyme. So enzyme and substrate will be bind to form enzyme substrate complex. Step 1, enzyme plus substrate, that is form enzyme substrate complex. Substrate means a reactant, that both will be react and to form enzyme substrate complex. Second one, the enzyme substrate complex is there. So that will be breakdown. Here the reaction takes place between the enzyme and substrate. So in the second step, there is the reaction is always already occurs here, and that will be breaks into a product and we will get enzyme back. Okay. So this is the mechanism of the enzyme catalyst. Step 1, enzyme and the substrate will to form enzyme substrate complex. Second step, the enzyme substrate complex will be decomposed into product and the enzyme. Now the last part, that is the industrial applications of the catalyst. Now even the catalyst and the catalyst enzymes are used in the various sources. Okay, so various applications are there for the catalyst and the enzymes. We are using in a many way, that is very important applications are there. So first one, we are using the catalyst, that is in the manufacture of ammonia. So the process is called as a Haber's process or Haber's method. Here we are using iron powder is as a catalyst and molybdenum is used as a promoters. Here the iron powder is used as a catalyst and the efficiency of this catalyst is increased by the molybdenum element or promoter. And next it is in the manufacture of the sulfuric acid, it is by contact process. The manufacture of sulfuric acid is called as a contact process. Here we are using platinum or vanadium pentoxide as a catalyst. Here platinum or vanadium pentoxide as a catalyst. Next, it is in the manufacture of nitric acid, that is called as the Ostwald process. That means Haber's means ammonia, contact means sulfuric acid preparation, Ostwald process means nitric acid preparation. So the nitric acid preparation we are using again the platinum or rhodium catalyst. Okay, here also we are using catalyst. Next, in the hydrogenation of oil, fats are prepared from oil using a nickel powder catalyst at 180 degrees Celsius. So in the hydrogenation of the oil, we are preparing fat from the oil. So in the preparation of fat, you are using nickel as a catalyst. So next, in the manufacture of methanol from carbon monoxide, that is zinc oxide is used as a catalyst. So in the manufacture of methanol from carbon dioxide, we are using a zinc oxide as a catalyst. And chromium oxide is as a promoter. Here also chromium oxide as a promoters and zinc oxide as a catalyst. So in the manufacture of ethanol from molasses enzyme, catalyst like invertase enzyme are using. Okay, so here in the preparation of which one, glucose, that is from molasses sucrose, we are using invertase as a enzyme. So these are the applications of the catalyst. So in the industrial application of the catalyst, these are the applications of the catalyst. That is in the manufacture of ammonia by Haber's method. That is next in the manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process. Next it is in the manufacture of nitric acid by Ostwald process, and then it is in the hydrogenation of oil, fats. Hydrogenation of oil, fats are prepared from the oils, that is using nickel powder. Next it is in the manufacture of methanol from carbon dioxide. Here we are using zinc oxide is used as a catalyst and chromium oxide as a promoters. In the manufacture of methanol from molasses, here we are using invertase enzyme is used as a catalyst. Here enzyme invertase are using in the preparation of the glucose. Next, here some questions are there, multiple questions, so you have to choose the correct answer. So first question, that is dash catalyst which increases the rate of reaction, homogeneous catalyst, positive catalyst, negative catalyst and heterogeneous catalyst which increases the rate of reaction, that is positive catalyst. So answer is positive catalyst. A chemical reaction in which the catalyst and the reactant are in different phase. So which has the different phase? Option A, homogeneous catalysis, heterogeneous catalysis, positive catalysis. So it is a heterogeneous catalysis. Dashed substances which itself is not a catalysis but increases the efficiency of a catalyst. So which are the substances which itself is not a catalyst but increases the rate of a catalyst? It is option A, catalytic poison, option B, catalytic promoters, option C, inhibitors, option D, enzymes. So that is option B, catalytic promoters. Dash are the proteins which catalyzes the biochemical reactions. Option A, catalyst, option B, enzymes, option C, promoters, option D, inhibitors. So option B is the correct answer. So enzymes are the proteins which catalyzes the biochemical reaction. So fifth one, in the hydrogenation of the oil, fats are prepared from, it is oil, that is using dash catalyst. Which catalyst we are using in the hydrogenation of the oil? Option A, platinum, option B, nickel, option C, zinc, option D, copper. So we are using here nickel catalyst in the hydrogenation of the oil. Thank you.